Hey guys, my name is Sufal,
I'm Marvin,
and welcome to TMA.
and today's topic is
We have an interesting topic actually, Marvin. It is about love.
yes, the
But
sappy one here.
yeah, but not just love, because love is basic. Love is what you see in romantic movies. Today we're going to be talking about falling out of love.
Oh yes, it's gonna be a little bit sad, but you'll learn. Yeah.
Obviously talking about falling out of love requires us to talk about love. So get ready for a sappy one. Pull out those tissues, pull
Yep.
out that wine if you're a legal age of drinking, and get ready to just listen to us talk about our sorrows. Just kidding.
Yeah. So I guess first we should talk about like what love is, right?
Yeah, so Marvin, tell me, what exactly is love?
Okay. Well, so contrary to popular belief, like most people think of love as just one romantic relationship, but according to Helen Fisher's research, she thinks there are three kinds of love. Those being lust, attraction, and attachment.
Okay.
So lust is usually the one that you're thinking of when when you first see a potential mate, and you're
Okay.
like, and
So
you think, your hormones are racing, specifically testosterone and estrogen. So those are the ones that are related to, hey, I found someone there, and I feel the need to sexually, how do you say this? Like
you feel
pass on my
attracted to it.
genes? Yeah.
I mean, biologically, our ancestors our goal is to pass on our genes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much lust. Like, okay. Yeah. And then next one we have is attraction. So those ones, the hormones related to that are dopamine and epinephrine. So
Okay.
or norepinephrine, I think. The one like related to like adrenaline, the fight
All right.
fight
Yeah,
or flight
fight
sort of thing.
response, yeah.
So those ones make us feel super giddy. Like, the first part of the relationship that's super exhilarating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dopamine and norepinephrine there are super high up. And then the last one, which I feel is the one that we usually forget about, is attachment. And that one relates to oxytocin and vasopressin. And I think oxytocin is commonly referred to as the cuddle hormone.
The cuddle hormone.
Yes, the
okay.
cuddling one. Um, and those ones are related to like, it doesn't just have to be romantic. It can also be like with your family members, right?
All right.
Like,
Yeah. No,
I'm sure you love your
understandable.
family,
Yeah.
right?
No. Yeah.
Yeah. So in that case, that sense of bonding you have is related to like hormones like oxytocin.
All right. So, quick question, just to take us off side note, Marvin, have you ever been in love?
I have not, Sufal. Have you?
Yes. I'm gonna say that based off one thing you said, like family. Technically.
Oh, wait, my bad. I'm sorry to my family. I have been in love with my family.
So technically,
I am.
Yeah, we are in love technically, not with each other.
Shh.
No, but with like our family and things like that. So, are there like types of love? Is that a thing?
The one, I guess, well, the lust, attraction, and attachment. I
Okay.
guess like those are all forms of love in a way.
Okay. So I'm just gonna bring up this theory by Robert Sternberg.
Oh, right.
Right. So basically, the theory is called the triangular theory of love. Essentially, it's called a triangular theory because there's three basic components, like the three sides or corners of a triangle. There's intimacy, there's passion, and there's commitment. So you know how there's various forms of love, like friendship, family, one night stands, or whatever you want to call it. He's essentially listed all of these, and every single component, every single version of love has something missing out of the three. So, for example, a basic friendship you might have would be a form of love with with just intimacy, no passion, and no commitment. That would be like your casual friend you meet, right? Infatuated is like most commonly known as a crush, or like a very beginning of a relationship, which is just like the honeymoon phase. In this, there's gonna be no intimacy and there's gonna be no commitment. And of course, there's empty love. This one personally has got me the most, like in my in my
Okay.
feels. Got me
Okay.
listening to Marvin's Room.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, but empty is pretty much when there's no intimacy or no passion. It's actually it can be a good thing because in arranged marriages typically it starts off as empty love and it builds up into a stronger form of love, but very often it can start off as a stronger form and through adultery or falling out of love essentially become empty love. Additionally, there's romantic love. This is more of your one night stand material, that fling, that person you're not catching any feelings to. Yeah. There's companionate, which is more so like best friend or family members. Yeah. So, with companionate, you have everything except for passion, which makes sense. You don't want to be passionate with your
Yeah, I'm definitely not passionate
friends
with
or
friends.
family. Yeah, and then fatuous is the type of love that you have like at first sight, and consummate being the last one is the ideal version with all three, having both intimacy, passion, and commitment.
Oh, okay. I feel like there's some overlap with like what Fisher's research was, because you have like they both are pretty much arguing that love is not just one type, right? It's more than just the romantic thing that we're so used to seeing in movies, right?
Yeah, wait, so just pause there a minute. Who exactly is Helen Fisher?
Who is Helen Fisher?
Yeah, like from what I remember, she did a lot of research into love, right?
Yes. I don't know. See, I don't know where she studied though. Oh, my bad. I do know. I forgot. It's Rutgers.
Rutgers, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
she did a lot of experiments based on love, and actually, if you look into her, you'll find more details about what we're talking about, even.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Marvin, have you ever used a dating app?
I am a flip phone user, and I have not, sir. Have you?
I had a brief instigation with the oh so famous swiping app.
Oh, which one would that be?
Let's not mention it, but you know where you swipe.
Okay.
Yeah. But pretty much tech is this huge thing that a lot of psychologists and just people who generally like to talk about love have either a love relationship with or a hate relationship with. Yeah.
Okay.
So with
go.
with tech, it's kind of my view on it and how a lot of people look at it is, you know, the saying where there's plenty of fish in the sea. Pretty much tech just makes that sea a lot bigger for us. Like we're able to connect with more people, able to find more people. But I feel like it also has a lot of deficits to it.
Okay. What would that be?
So, for example, texting. Normally, when we interact with a person, we want to judge them to see if they're a potential mate. And when we're texting, it removes a lot of aspects of, say, physical touch, interaction, flirting, and essentially you can act to be a different person through text, through messaging, rather than how it would be in person.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Additionally, one thing that tech does, completely opposite of us being able to make us look better, it makes our standards for perfect way better. Like
Ooh.
I remember my parents at one point said just find someone who's good enough. But that does not exist in today's day and age. Like you're either perfect or snap onto the next man, right? Yeah, so with connecting with people, it's definitely made it easier. Through a keyboard, there is one issue that arises is people fall in love with people much like with a persona, like I mentioned earlier, right? We have the symptoms of attachment, attraction, and even lust through pictures and people talking in a way they would normally wouldn't. Through a keyboard, it's easier to make advances such as making sexual comments on somebody. And all of this can also lead with fake profiles and stuff can lead to things that I love this word. I don't know how this fish got such a bad rep, but catfishing.
Ah.
Yeah, so you meet up in real life, you're confusion because like, whoa, I had this huge image of this person, all of a sudden it's completely someone who I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So see, it's like you're saying it both makes it easier and harder.
Yeah, it's like some aspects have become good, like, oh, so many more people I can meet I traditionally wouldn't meet. Right? But on the other hand, it's like, oh, you can fake so much, and it can also lead to like catfishing.
Right, because everyone, like you said, has a persona out there, right?
Yeah.
Like I think even me, not even if it's not necessarily dating, if I'm on social media, like the things that people post or that I even post, it's like it's showing one side of you, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't know. I'm just thinking like, damn, I wonder what it was like before like dating apps. Like we've always grown up in an age where like dating apps were, I guess, normal, right?
Yeah, I mean, by the time we even thought about dating apps were normal.
Yeah.
One thing I gotta ask you, Marvin, is do you know about the saucy messages?
Oh, the saucy messages?
The saucy
The ones
messages.
through what? Texting DMs?
Yeah, sometimes, they're pictures, sometimes they're very
Oh.
intricately formed words that create lust and attraction.
Certain hormones are coming
Yeah,
here, right?
for some of you that haven't gotten it yet, we're talking about sexting.
Ah.
And yes, don't worry, I don't get sexting either. I'm bad at it. But pretty much sexting is a great thing because in long distance relationships or relationships where you're not able to communicate every day, it can technically keep the spark alive. It can keep those hormones, those feelings, the oxytocin, everything flowing.
Yep.
Right? It has a general increase in intimacy. It's amazing. But where this can come and take over is the ability to sex with other people.
Yes, that is something you should probably not do.
Yeah, if you have a significant other, please don't sex someone else. Do not.
I mean, unless it's like an open relationship.
Open
then
relationship.
That's
a
you.
whole different.
Yeah.
That reminds me, like polyamory. That's the thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, generally we're monogamous, but
Yeah.
I guess we'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's finish up on what sexting and all that first.
Yeah. So pretty much sexting in general. I'm just gonna wrap it up right now. Sexting in general can be great, but when you sex other people, no.
No. Okay.
Big no.
Yeah, big no.
Yeah.
So pretty much, yeah, tech can make things easier and harder. So there's pros and cons pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's literally, it's a tool. It's how you use it, and it'll affect literally everything, including love, in that way.
Okay. Well, I think, yeah, getting back onto what monogamy.
Yeah.
I myself, I mean, I think most people believe in monogamous relationships.
I mean,
right?
yeah, I feel like the typical relationship would be monogamous, right? One partner.
Yeah. But that has not always been the case for human history.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, okay, it's interesting because technically, if we're talking about it from an evolutionary perspective,
Yeah.
you know, we want to pass on our genes to as many mates as possible, right? Then we get lots of our kids and they can pass on those genes.
Yeah.
So, like, if we're speaking it from, like, an evolutionary standpoint, it doesn't really make sense to be
Yeah,
monogamous.
as a male, wouldn't I want to have as many kids with as many different women as possible? Because
Right.
that would increase the odds of my genes, like, traveling into the future.
Yeah. But the interesting thing is, at least what some researchers were proposing was because, like, you know, humans, we're not up and running after, like, 1 year of being born, right?
True.
We need years, like, even as a what? We're young adults now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're young adults.
Yeah.
Even
Young
we're still
adults.
developing. So the reason that they thought monogamy would be helpful would be in terms of raising young, right? Like having a reliable partner means that there's typically in a small group, there would be less violent group conflict. And that way the children actually get that support to grow up, right? If you were always, if your goal was just to pass on, you know, to mate with as many people as possible, if you're not taking care of the kids, they may not survive. So
Understandable, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, different animals. So, for example, if humans were, say, able to start walking and be completely independently functioning within, like, a shorter amount of time rather than, what is it, like 20, 18 years, 15
Yeah.
years now, do you think that monogamy wouldn't be a thing?
I think that might be the case. I think animals that typically see, I don't remember exactly, but I'm gonna guess that animals that typically are able to reproduce at a in a shorter time frame, they were typically probably less. They're less likely to be monogamous, is my guess.
Understandable.
Right? Like, you know, like the ones. What do they have in labs? Right? Like usually they're working with fruit flies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But just was it Drosophila?
Drosophila.
Yeah. Melanogaster. Yeah, like their reproduction times are super short, and I'm pretty sure flies are not monogamous.
Definitely not.
So yeah, that does not mean that there's an excuse to be what's your word,
Polyamorous.
polyamorous though,
Yeah,
because
unless-
yes, like
Unless
we talked
it's an
about.
open relationship, yeah.
But yeah, generally right now monogamy is due to social construct, but also due to the fact that we have a huge investment or parental investment in raising our young.
Yeah, definitely women more than men, right?
Yeah, I think we learned that in what bio.
Yeah, that's definitely a basic biology concept. Like, women, they carry the goddamn baby for 9 months.
Yeah, respect to all pregnant
Respect
women
to,
out there.
I don't know how
Thanks,
y'all do
Mom.
it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mom. Shut up.
Yeah, shout out to moms.
Shout out to moms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so, I mean, I feel like we've pretty much covered love and how we get into it. What do you think?
Yes.
Anything else we should mention?
I guess we should mention the probably not so pleasant side of it. Yeah,
The
falling
descent.
Yes.
The sad part. When you feel that crushing feeling in your heart.
Oh, yes.
Slowly ripping it apart. The descent. Falling out of love. Pretty much what this podcast was made for.
Oh yeah.
So pull out those tissues. Forget about your exes. Let's do this.
Don't call them back.
Don't
Stop.
call them back.
Stop. I know
Put
you
away
weren't
that
reaching
phone.
for your phone.
Put away that phone. So after all the phases of love, which are pretty much mate selection, falling in love, and losing the romantic love, and if you don't hit that true love, you end up with...
Oh, falling out of it. Yes.
Yeah, falling out of it.
Um.
So how does one do so?
Okay. Well, apparently, a lot of people think that loving someone is typically like, you know, when you're in that teenager stage, your prefrontal cortex is not fully developed. So you're pretty much irrational and super hormone driven. Yeah, that's the kind of love that you're thinking, okay, I'll be with this person forever. But in fact, some researchers say that it's actually healthy to fall out of love at some point in a relationship. And that's because at first we're all like, what, hormone ridden. We were not really in full control of our, I guess, emotional, rational, anything really.
Yeah.
So yeah, apparently it's pretty normal because at some point you want to consider can my current mate can they be like a lifelong partner, right?
Yeah, provide a family.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's like people always talk about how like at the first part of the relationship was so much more exhilarating. That was their honeymoon phase, and now everything's stagnant. But I feel like maybe it's like not that you really fall out of love in terms of long-term relationships, but the type of love kind of changes, right? Like how we were talking
Yeah,
earlier.
yeah, with the even like the triangle theory of love.
Yeah.
Like technically, a lot of cases actually. Let me just mention this here super quickly. In a lot of cases, people will go from a stronger form of love, like the consummate, the ideal version with all three, both intimacy, passion, and commitment, and slowly work their way down to something like empty love, which would technically, like, over time, even lead to no love or a lack of love. So, Marvin, I had to ask this because I remember thinking like just a few seconds ago. Can you just turn love off? Like, say I'm infatuated with this person, but suddenly I decide, for some god-forsaken reason, I don't want to be in love with this person anymore. Can I just be like, nope?
I wish that was the case.
Oh.
Honestly, because okay, love is like you can't really control. Like when your body and your brain is doing something, like I can't control who I have a crush on,
Yeah.
right? Like or who I'm attracted
The
to.
body wants what the body
Yeah, the
wants.
body wants what the body wants. Those are some wise words right there.
Don't quote me.
So yeah, you aren't able to control it. It's like I don't know what the word is, like subconscious, unconscious. Like it's not something consciously you can control, like who you're attracted to,
Yeah.
who you lust for, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, unfortunately, it is not. It is not under my control.
Sorry for all of you thinking that right there, listening to this podcast, being like, how do I fall out of love with this person?
Yeah, and you can't make someone necessarily fall in love with you. Whatever
Yeah.
chemistry is going on in their brain or between you. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So one thing that I don't know if you have any experience with this yourself, but one thing that I found with not necessarily myself, but with my friends is proximity is a huge factor as to how people fall out of love. Like, for example, long distance relationships. One huge factor why people fall out of love or start looking into other people is because they lose proximity with their original partner, and they end up getting closer and literally both emotionally and physically in distance with people who are nearby, and eventually, they perform a little bit of a thing called adultery,
Uh-oh.
or if they're nicer, maybe break up first, and they fall out of love eventually.
Yeah, I mean, it's not right, but it's like if you're not being provided for in certain capacities,
Yeah.
I guess that temptation is a lot greater, right? Because yeah, if you're with your partner, if you're not long distance, you feel like you have everything you need, right? So yeah, for anyone who's doing long distance, like respect to you because I don't think I myself could. I don't know if you can.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah. So I think yeah, in terms of long term relationships, I'm not some love guru, but it's definitely something that both parties really have to work towards.
Yeah,
Right?
again, this is where that good old sexting can come into play.
Oh yes, yes. That's one of the
Yeah.
pros of technology as we discussed.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I read somewhere that humans are pretty much hardwired to fall out of love.
Um,
Is this true?
I don't know if that's necessarily
Yeah.
true.
I feel like it's very easy for us to fall out of love, especially in the early stages of a relationship. Some guy called Dr. Noor, I believe.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, he basically mentioned that the brain is pre-programmed to cut off all of our lust hormones at some point when we're about to get married or when we're about to have children, like you mentioned earlier about having kids. And this pretty much contradicts this whole notion and this idea that hormones are only produced until our body runs out of hormones to produce. Yeah. You pretty much covered all of this already, but yeah.
Yeah,
we're
pretty
destined
much.
to fall out of love, according to science.
Yes. Yeah, like I think no matter what a healthy relationship, the type of love has to change and you have to fall out of that hormone super I think we've said this before, but like that super hormone high phase to get into like a long-term relationship, right?
Okay, so let's just drop that right there because I want to talk about something that I haven't experienced yet. I pray to God I never experience. Cheating,
Oh,
adultery.
that is very bad. Yes.
Yeah, so personally, I have not experienced it. Bless the Lords.
Thank God.
Yeah, but one thing I read is it's very easy for us to meet new people, and this initial feeling of like initial love, the romantic love that I mentioned earlier, it can cause us to do things that are not so nice, like have lust take over and end up having intercourse or romantic relations with people who are not our monogamous partner.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And adultery is one of the huge ways why somebody might end up falling out of love with a person. Not necessarily because you as a partner may have done something wrong, but since they're getting the satisfaction of lust and attraction from other people, they can end up losing that with you.
It's just tying back into like technology. Do you think I don't know. There's so many more people we can connect with.
Yeah.
Do you think there's just more temptation out there? Like, do you think we cheat more nowadays probably than we did, I guess, before the whole advent of smartphones and all that?
I wish I could find a research article on this. There probably is some article somewhere, but I personally don't think so.
Oh,
Because
okay.
what in my mind, like cheating is the conduct of using your willpower not to cheat, right? So just because the pool is bigger doesn't mean I'm gonna throw my line in.
Okay. I was just
Yeah.
thinking, if there's more fish, wouldn't there be a higher chance of them biting?
Yeah, that's true. But once you're in a relationship, you take that line out, Marvin.
Okay,
You take
we'll
that
stop with
line
the
out.
fishing.
Let's stop with the
fishing.
fishing analogy for those of you
Yeah.
who are seasick already.
Yeah.
So Marvin, I know for a fact, no discussion
Oh.
needed, that you've had crushes. Do you agree or do you not agree?
I do. Okay, I concur. Yes,
You
I've
concur.
had
You
crushes.
concur. No pleading the
Well,
fifth.
no, but why don't you talk about yourself first?
Okay, sure. So, yeah, I mean, we've all had crushes, and if you haven't, maybe you don't know what a crush is yet. But I have this huge crush on this one girl in one particular moment. I will be super ambiguous, and I ended up losing this crush based off of one fact. She did me dirty.
Oh,
She did me so dirty,
what'd
man.
she do?
I had candy. I was giving it out. She took the most candy, even though everyone else was taking a rationalized amount. And ever since then, man, my young crush, young Sufal out there, man, he was just saddened. He was like, nah, man, this girl, she ain't for you. Moved on, and now I'm happy with my life.
Oh, your heart's not broken anymore?
My heart was definitely broken. Speaking of my broken heart, Marvin, tell me
Oh,
about the broken heart syndrome.
yeah. Okay, I didn't know this was a thing. I thought it was just like people were just joking around talking about broken hearts, but apparently there is a temporary heart condition. That
No.
doesn't necessarily follow. I guess doesn't. It's not always after like breaking up and stuff like that, or like Sufal having his crush.
Sad moments.
Yes. It can just be after any sort of stressful situation. But what happens is that there's a temporary disruption of your heart's normal pumping function, and that causes some symptoms like chest pain or shortness of breath.
Like genuine symptoms
Like
of
you
chest
actually,
pain.
like it's actually a medical
Oh,
condition.
wow, that's crazy.
Luckily though, it only lasts for a few days or weeks. So if you are feeling some sort of pain, it might be broken heart syndrome, but you shouldn't have to, I guess, like worry about it.
Okay, that is crazy. Well, with all of that, I feel like we've kind of covered everything, haven't we?
Yeah, we talked about love and talked about falling out of it.
Yeah, so if you guys have had an amazing experience with love,
Or a bad one.
or a bad one, a really bad one, feel free to let us know. We have an Instagram now.
Oh, yes, we do.
It is now active. Marvin is running it.
Yes.
It is called, the handle is Tell Me About Podcast. Feel free to DM us, tell us your story, or just comment on the post for this podcast
Yeah.
episode.
Now that we have social media, please interact with
Yeah.
us.
And if you feel like being on this podcast, but you felt like emails were too much work, while you're on Instagram, just shoot us a DM and be like, hey, I like your show. I want to be on it.
Ah, yes. Use technology.
We can chit the chat.
Chit the chat.
Exactly.
Ah.
Yeah. So with all that concluded, thank you guys so much for listening to our podcast. My name's Sufal,
And I'm Marvin.
and feel free to contact us on our email. Tell me about official@gmail.com.
And we'll see you in the next episode.
Yep. Bye, guys.
Bye.